I don't know if you are. Do you have kids?
I am 20. I have no children.
Yeah, I
have
didn't.
a
I didn't want to
puppy. I
assume.
view her as my child.
But John threw out like that 15%. God is sometimes wrong about what he predicts 15% of the time. But let's say that's right. Let's say that's close. If you're about to be a mother and you knew that there's an 85% chance that your child would have the most atrocious, heinous, exceedingly bad health condition, and from the moment it's born to the moment it dies, it's nothing but pain, would you choose to have that child?
I don't know if it's necessarily up to us to decide that.
No, I'm asking you, like, you get to decide, and I'm not talking about
Okay.
abortion. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm talking about
No, yeah.
if I gave you an envelope and it said in that envelope, if you conceive tonight, if you have actually any children, an 85% probability that, think of the most severe suffering that a human being can go through, every second of every day of their life, would you have children? 85% chance. I wouldn't.
I don't know why, but I'm leaning towards I would. I just feel like.
But wouldn't that be immoral of you to risk that amount of pain and suffering on someone that you could choose not to have that happen?
It's an interesting concept. I feel like I wouldn't want to not give. Like, I feel like if God wants me to have a child, like.
This is your decision.
I wouldn't want them to suffer.
What if it was 99%? Would that change anything? Did the percentages change anything for you?
It reminds me of the Haunting of Hill House, where the mom's talking about how the children will go through so much pain and suffering and horribleness if they do grow up, and she tries to kill them. Sorry, spoiler. And like the kind of the moral of that, like the takeaway was like, yes, they will go through suffering. That will happen, no matter what. But they should still be given the chance to experience things. And I feel like that is where I would have to land on that, is that they still deserve the opportunity to.
But are you saying this because you know I'm linking this to Yahweh and creation? Like if we didn't know anything about God or whatever, and I just asked you human to human.
No, I still think that. But like also just based on the Haunting of Hill House example, because that has nothing to do with God. Yeah, I'm leaving it there.
Okay. See, this is the reason why I'm asking this question, is because I think John adopts open theism to avoid the problem I just presented to you. And the problem is, if God knows for sure what's going to happen, it makes him look terrible, because he's created something knowing exactly what will happen and decided to do it anyhow. And a lot of these things that are going to happen goes against his nature. God does not like sin. He doesn't want sin, yet he created something that he knew would create sin. So, but John pulls back on that and says, no, he didn't know it would create sin, but he predicted 85% chance that it would create sin.
I feel like in that sense, because it's different than the example with the child suffering, because the child wouldn't be choosing to have that suffering inflicted on them, but Satan chose to have that evil.
Did occur. Satan ask to be created?
No, I'm saying when he made the choice to rebel against God, like that was his choice, whereas a child being in pain wouldn't be their choice. But God, like if you're saying for Satan existing, right? I know. I feel like with Satan existing, God gave him a chance to exist. Like God could have said, like, I didn't create anything because I just knew it would go wrong. Like a teacher could say, like, I'm not going to let any of you take the test because I just know you're all going to cheat. I just know it. But if you don't like give them the opportunity to at least have a chance to prove themselves, then that's tyranny.
But Alexandra, we're talking about eternal damnation.
He gave Satan a chance, and Satan chose to ruin it.
I understand, but we're talking about eternal damnation here for some people, right? So if God saw with an 85% chance, as John said, that by creating, some people will end up in hell sometime in the future forever. And if God's not needy, if he doesn't need to create, in other words, if he has free will and he can choose not to create, if he's totally self-sufficient, why create?
I mean, he didn't necessarily specifically damn anyone to hell. It's everyone's choice whether or not to believe in him.
But he created.
Take that path.
Sure. Let me.
It's not like he forced anyone into anything.
I'm going to say something now, and I think every theist in here is going to agree with. And that is, if God chose not to create, there would be no sin, no evil, no pain, and no suffering.